laughing your ass off at my team.
There's also...
Shut up. He's a lock. He's in your team. He's a lock.
Yeah.
He's a lock. What?
You don't even have the box. Did you not learn your lesson last? You also got Fire saying that he's going to become a full-time midfielder. Nice hair, by the way. And
I think it's weird.
3 games. Now, we said that last year. You know why? He's a year younger. He's a year older. He broke down last year. After how many games? They're always huge.
They're always huge. Have you seen him though?
Say it like that. You got Reed at F2. My Reed is at F5. There is a stark difference in our forward line. A huge difference in our forward line. My forward line will smash your forward line spacing. So you're... Welcome back to the Coach Masters. I'm George.
I'm James and it's me, George. George, what are you doing, champ? Wow, it's out of control and wild.
Man, you always comment on my physical appearance every time, and I don't appreciate it. Now I'm going to start commenting on your physical appearance.
You have.
You dye your hair with teeth.
It is dye. You got the same sex of colours. How are you going, guys? On
Good. How are you going?
Beautiful day.
We're finally back.
Finally?
How'd you find round 0? Did you?
Tinkered my balls off. Yes, I did. Tinkering kept me up. Champ, there's just some names and things that... How's your team, by the way?
It's a fucking mess, but
I like to see it.
It's a hot mess.
It's always...
You're gonna love it, because you've got so many things to pick on. But that's not today. We're going to talk about what we liked about the thingo. But before we do, Matty, where do we find us?
I don't know.
I just love asking you, but all right.
I don't know. Where do we find us, champ?
Cick Sunt Hall of Fame. If you look there, we've got a merch perch. 40 has jumped on and he's bought a beanie. 40.
Merch perch. Oh, so we adding the guys that want to buy some stuff from us.
Oh, why not? You know, because that was the first sale from on the store.
So who bought what?
40. Bought himself a nice beanie, Matt Eaps, and he's another superstar. Loves a beanie.
Which one did you get? The white ones or did you get the grey ones?
Got the grey one, I believe.
There you go.
And we got some coffee shouts. And Matty, before we do, there is an absolute superstar rookie that I need to tell you about.
Tell me, what's his name?
CJ Summit, because he's come out of nowhere with a huge SuperCoach score.
Why? What's his
and
score?
he's gave us 10 coffees. Now CJ, big rookie, comes in with a big bang. He's got himself up to second. He goes, hey legends, hope you enjoy the buzz of your 10 coffees. Loving your content and all the laughs, guys. Keep it up. I'm still in the air about should I bring in an injury-prone Zach Williams due to his bye and injury history. Not much mid-prices now that Coleman has gone down. What do you guys think?
Well, we're going to get to that on the first game of the round, which is Brisbane versus Carlton.
If CJ wants me to talk about it in the
We will
coffee shop,
talk about it.
I'll talk about it in the fucking coffee shop section.
George, I always thought Zach Williams, he did really well at the halftime, and I thought, wait a minute, he just slowed down. I woke up, I didn't even watch halftime. I thought, Carlton, we're done and dusted. And then I'm like, Zach Williams did fuck all after halftime, and then Carlton won. I'm like, what's going on? And Zach Williams still didn't get enough of the football.
Because guys didn't have it in the whole attacking 50.
Apparently, as soon as Coleman went off, that was it. You know, because Coleman went off and I thought, this is great. But I was spewing because I was never going to get Coleman. Were you ever going to get Coleman?
I didn't have him in my starting team.
I wish everyone had him in their starting team round 1. I never would have picked him, but he's out. But back to Williams. What
I like the most about Williams is a couple of things. I like that he was on about 50-something odd at halftime.
Yes.
And I also like his time on ground, which was pretty high up there. I thought maybe they might ease him back into it, 50, 60, 70% time on ground. He was up there around the 80s. So I really enjoyed that, and I think that is kind of something you can trust for a little bit. I actually don't mind if you leave him out, and I don't mind if you grab him either way. It all depends on your structure. I have no problem with anyone picking Zach Williams.
Well, he's got 19 touches, 80% game time, with 73 SuperCoach champ.
I don't mind it. If he's pumping out 70s, I think that's good, but I think he's got a 90 and 100 in him based on his kind of scoring. So Williams is an interesting one. If it suits your structure, I don't mind picking him. Now, before we get into that whole game, let's get into the rest of the coffee shows because the docky is on the board yet again. He's bought 1 coffee. He's bought 9 less than CJ. He says, is Jack Lukosius a diamond in the rough based on the forward options available as he's a decent kick in the forward line, or is he a stinky tuna?
All right, so let's speak about Docky. Docky, I was speaking to Jamie. Now, Docky, I heard your thinking about like Mitch Owens.
I don't mind Mitch Owens.
He was thinking about Lukosius.
I do mind Lukosius.
And there was some other funny name I don't even forget, but like...
Okay, I'm going to tell you something with Lukosius.
Docky, do you watch this podcast or not? Like, that's the question. I'll shout you a copy to answer that question. Do you watch our podcast? When have we spoken about Owens, Lukosius, and some other duds that he's got?
I'm going to tell you about Lukosius. there's actually an abundance of players in the forward line you can do. There's Harley Reeds, there's Fifes, there's Harms, there's James Jordan, Matty, stop me if I'm wrong, there's Zach Fishers, Luke Jacksons, Flanders, you know.
Beanies.
No, and
Yes, there is.
we'll
Yes, there
and
is.
there is plenty of options without having to get Lukosius, who obviously has 2 buys. And he's obviously a forward line player. He's going to get a big score here and now. He's a
Back
horrible
to the drawing
option.
board, mate, because it's just not on.
No, he's a stinky tuna. Next one, Dave, turn it up.
Turn it up.
SMC.
Let's see what he has
He's
to
a
say
Cindy
today.
Moore 4. He's got 4 coffees, 4 hot milkers through to you both before I submit my team for you to tear it to shreds. Should I start Jackson Clare through though, Geordie? I can't wait to send you my team to find out. So he says that we say Jack Sinclair, as in Jackson Clare.
Jackson Clare.
Jack Sinclair.
Sinclair.
And yeah, look, no, probably not. He's
All the best to your boy Caleb, not Caleb.
all the best to your boy Kleb. And
Fucking idiot.
and Jack Sinclair, if he's fit for round 1, do you like the choice?
Yeah, I like him.
If he's fit for round 1,
I just like him in
any
general.
premium with a kind of injury cloud over.
Well, that's
Stick
what
on-
happened.
stick
That's
on
what,
the
that's what
code.
happened to English. English done his hamstring before last year's season and didn't miss a beat, and he was pretty much the
He
second
did,
most
but-
expensive.
They still can't
Yeah.
justify it based on that. Would you rather get a player that's had a full preseason at the same
Of course
price?
you would, of course you
Exactly. So I don't know about Jackson
Jackson
Clare.
Clare.
So last coffee shout was Fear Glen itself. I got that. I butchered
All right.
that. Fear
Say it
itself,
again.
Glenn.
Fear
Now he
itself,
said, loving the content, boys. Would be great to see a vid of the subscriber also supporter team reveals before round 1. Now, Glenn, I completely love that idea, but with the limited time, I don't know if we have time to do even our last team reveal before then. But if you want, Glenn, feel free to send us your team, and we will shred it to pieces. But since you donated a fair bit of coffee, we won't shred it too hard. We'll give you some good advice.
Give you some good advice and shred
Trust
it.
me, if you look at my team,
We'll
it's going to
peel
do
it,
the
not-
opposite.
We'll peel it, not shred it.
Now, that is all the coffee shouts. Now! Get yourself some goddamn beanies and polos at our merch store.
I'm glad you didn't put a beanie on my football gels because I'm ready to kick some girls. All right, champ.
Let's
Merch
get to the-
stores. Where can we find our merch store?
Yeah, there's a link in the description because there's also a link in the description. Go to the description.
Go to the description. There's a link there apparently.
I know. That's it.
Yes, George.
First game of the round.
Carlton versus Brisbane. My God, I only watched a half because I thought, this is boring.
It wasn't boring. I enjoyed
only
every
watched a
second.
half.
I know because you had to go to work the next day.
I did.
Not because it was boring.
But I was very upset, Jules. I think you called me and said, how'd you like Carlton winning in the morning? And I'm like, I couldn't believe it. But good for Carlton and their stupid supporters. No, not stupid supporters. Good for Carlton.
The Blue Boys.
The Blue Boys. Collingwood lost. But let's go straight to the Carlton team who have come out on top, Jules.
Now, Harry Mackay, champ, is he an option?
Champ, I don't think there is much. We'll talk about some players.
I'm talking about Harry Mackay. He's the first one off the Blues, the highest SuperCoach score for the 130 with 13 touches and 3 goals. You're laughing, but I've seen stupider things in stupider teams.
Okay, well, Harry McKay is not an option, Jules.
Explain to me and the viewers why he's not an option.
Because he kicked a goal that was probably worth 30 points. So he
So he would have got 100 then.
would have got 100. He would have got 100. Chan Mackay is ticking time bomb waiting to happen as far as his missed kicks, but he played good. 3 goals, 130 champ. I don't know why we're talking about now. If you want to talk about a Carlton player that's in the premium price, let's talk about Hewitt. My boy Hewitt, George Hewitt. 27 touches. How many CBAs did he get, champ? He was there.
He was. So Carlton only used 3 main midfielders for their CBAs. It was like Hewitt, Cripps, and Cheras, and they looked pretty good. Hewitt looks like he can take his average up back to that 580k kind of average mark.
That's what I've been trying to say.
But Carlton does have that shitty buy, and we want to steer clear for most of the players in this team, unless they're an absolute exception, Matt Zeebs. Now, can you see a world with Hewitt in your team?
Well, George Hewitt gets 150 next week, champ. You've got to consider it because you've got 2 weeks to get him in before.
Well, not
he plays
really.
it.
He gets 150 next week, then he's got his buy, then you consider it the week
That's what I'm
after.
saying.
But you
You've got 2
don't
weeks
have,
to
you
get
don't
him.
consider starting him.
No.
Exactly. So you can't be putting him in your team this week, is what we're saying, right?
Correct.
And that's only because of the buy.
Correct.
Right. Okay. Well, that's pretty much fair enough. There's no one else. Oh, Newman got a 93. He was doing real shit. Zach Williams, we already spoke about. I'm just going to chuck a hypothetical. Ambrosio or Williams? Who do you like more at
I
this
like
stage?
Williams. Well, I don't like Ambrosio at all. At all.
Why is that?
I just don't. Look, we see one preseason game where he was in the back. No, listen. Just let me finish for fuck's sake, George.
There's 2
There was
preseason
one
games and they were both
preseason-
at the back line.
It was mainly on the wing for me.
He wasn't. I've seen the stats. He was in the back line.
Well, in that case, it's even terrible. So if he was, I just like Williams better. He's more job security.
I just like it, okay?
All right.
Don't ask me logical questions.
I watched him. He was on the wing most
He
of the
wasn't.
time.
I got the stats.
You've got that thing. Okay, whatever. He was in the defensive half because the ball was in the defensive half, but he didn't start as a defender. So your stats was, well, where was his time most spent? And it was in the defensive half, but that he did not start in the defence. He was probably running. Did you watch that game? I bet you did.
Yeah, I bet I did. I told you, remember, I put $50 on the Bulldogs to beat the Hawks. And I bet there was a line. It was minus 13.5.
And then you were really rapid. And then it came back and then you won.
All right, I told you.
Okay.
So I definitely did watch it.
And you didn't see him starting on the wing.
Matty, he had 85% of all his time on ground was spent in the defensive half. 85%, and that is huge. He was playing backline. Sure, he may have had a small stint in the second quarter where he went for a little bit, but that was a 50% forward defender split. Masamil.
Now, look, I don't know. I don't like him. I'd rather watch Zach Williams, but the good thing, what I like about Zach Williams is that you've already seen what he's going to do in round 0, round 1. You kind of got like a step in the window as what his price. I don't know if. Do you think, okay, how's this question? Do you think Massimo is going to get the same SuperCoach points or more than Zach Williams at 73?
I think about the same.
Okay, well then it's about go with your heart. But I hate it.
But I think Zach Williams has got better job security. However, Zach Williams has got the bye. So there's a couple of mitigating factors you have to consider with each one. Personally, I think I got Zach Williams a little bit ahead of Massimo.
Me too.
But not much.
Now, there's someone that I want to talk about, champ. He's $123,000, and he came on as a super sub.
Are you talking about Jack Carroll, 123K?
I'm talking about Jack Carroll, 123K.
10 possessions, 1 goal.
10 possessions, 10 possessions, 1 goal with 35% game time. Pretty much turned the game around when he came on. 65 SuperCoach. Is he got job security because
Doherty is out for the year with the ACL?
For the year?
Yeah, ACL for the year.
Wow. Yeah. That's really bad.
So he obviously came on for Doherty.
And you think that Jake Carroll actually had a massive impact?
Now, those of you asking who's Jake Carroll, he's been in Carlton, I think this is his 4th year.
4th year.
Now, he's played 5 games in his first year, one game in his next, and then 1 game in his next.
We both know exactly.
Why do we know Jake Carroll's career up by
Because
heart?
we're checking to see how good he is or how shitty he is.
He did have a game in...
You've thought about it?
He's in my...
He's in your team. I thought about him too, but I didn't want to... But now I'm glad we're talking about it because he'll be in my team. But
93, he scored a SuperCoach game in his first year. He's been sub a couple of times, and I think at his price, with Doherty going down, if he can get... So obviously we're going to get to see Carlton's full team. If he's not a sub for that round 2 game, I think he's worth a spot on the bench, especially because, man, I want to talk to you about Sharp. He played in the... the waffle. And he was injured, and his injury is kind of... He's a bit on the iffy side.
Changing it right now. I was trying to find someone to get rid of someone to get this Carroll in, and Sharp's probably the one.
So Sharp's a bit iffy for round 1. He still could play. He still could debut. I read an article about it and his injury and the waffle, all that kind of stuff. So at the moment, I think
he's a good pick, isn't he?
Sharp or Carroll?
Carroll.
I think if Carroll's getting a full game, he's worth a spot for your starting team. Because...
Do you think the same thing with Williams? Obviously, Carroll is going to have next week's game if he plays. Then he's got a bye. Then we can get him again.
Let me finish. Now, if you start with him, Matty, and he has that bye, you can use Carroll as a loophole for round 2 to see if is your Dry Clarks, is your Sharps, or is your other players on your bench going to get a bigger score. You can do the same thing with Zach Williams. If you still have him and it's round 2 and you got Reed, Caulfield, Howes, whoever you have on the bench, you can loophole them with Zach Williams as well. So the buys only really affect your premiums, because if you have someone that's a rookie-ish and a rookie-ish price, you can have Zach Williams on the field, you have your Zach Reed as emergency. If you get to 50, chuck on Caulfield for your Zach Reed. So you can I really done that, I think with that with my team. That's why I've got Carroll, and that's why I'm considering Zach Williams. So
I think that's a shit idea, George, because it's the best 18.
Yeah, okay, but you still, if one of those boys gets you a 90, it's going to push out someone that's on your field that's getting a 60.
Understand.
So it's a fucking sensational idea if you actually think about it, champ.
If you actually think about it, champ, let's have a look, champ. So Essendon play on a Saturday night, so who's in the back line? Gibcus plays on the Sunday, maybe it might be, but who's going to be playing those idiots anyway,
What round are you looking at?
Round 2.
Yeah.
When Carlton have their bye.
So you can always put Howes as an emergency for
Anyway,
Melbourne.
we can do some loopholes, is what Jordy's saying.
Absolutely.
To sum it up. Champ, I want to talk to you one more question about Doherty.
Yeah.
He's going to be so cheap next year.
Next year, 2025, Doherty coming in our
Averaging
midfield
one
only.
game with a 25.
That's rookie price, isn't it?
That's a rookie price for sure. He's going to get a massive discount. He'll probably be still 400,000.
Now, Orazio Fantasia, not in my team, shouldn't be in anyone's. However, if you wanted to look at a positive, he played a lot more time on ground than I thought he would. And I think he was going to get around, 50.
Fanforty says he's got the icicle, but 11 touches for Fantasia. That's pretty good if you ask me.
That's not too bad against Brisbane. I mean, who's essentially meant to be a grand finalist. So he did get around, 70 to 80% time on ground, which is a lot more than Orazio with his injury history that I would have thought he got. So
I think we are talking way too much on Brisbane and Carlton.
now, do you want to talk about Lockie Neal?
We can talk about Lockie Neal all day.
Now, obviously, Lockie Neal, Dunkley, obviously they played okay games. I actually hated Dunkley's game. 21 touches, not for me. Lockie Neal looked okay, looked good. He obviously had the most CBAs out of absolutely everyone.
That's what I like about Lockie Neal.
But the main guy, Jared Lyons, is what everyone wants to see. A lot of people are starting him in the team. Some people are fading him. Some people think it's a one-off. What are your thoughts, Matty? 19 touches. He did have, I think, the fourth most CBAs for the midfielders in Lions.
With my mid-price Madness champ, you would be thinking that I had the Lions in there tinkering a game or two. But look, is he trusty? Is he trustworthy?
I mean, he's been a 600k. He's averaged 117 before.
Yeah,
I think the thing you need to be trusty of is Deb Robertson coming back. Because if Deb Robinson's coming back, I imagine it's going to be for Lions' position, or they're going to be alternating sub-vests. Ashcroft's not coming back to mid-year. I think that's when you definitely need to get rid of Lions.
If we have him.
Now with this guy, we can always wait a week. If he gets a 60, the people who've got him are pretty fucked. Mm-hmm. But if he gets another 100, then we can still wait for his buy and grab him at round 3.
Yeah, that's the joy of these Brisbane Carlton games. Despite there's not so many that I want to start with, if not any.
Absolutely.
But no, Jared Lyons, he only got 19 touches, but still 100. He had a lot of tackles though. Not a lot of time on ground, which is the concerning thing, champ. Because
he had the lowest time on ground for every player on Brisbane except the subs. So that's one thing to be concerned about. However, I remember when he was a premium and I was paying close attention to him, he never really had a lot of time on ground. This is not him being eased into it or he's unfit. This is just how many minutes he usually
31
gets.
years old.
But this is how many minutes he usually gets on the ground. Back 2 years ago, he was still getting low 71% time on ground and stuff like that. So,
well, he's definitely one that I had my eye on. Loman was one I had my eye on before it happened, but every single one of these players in the forward line that you had your eye on, my structure has completely changed because I was
can't wait to see, Matty.
I was really, really hoping that these forward line rookies pulled through and they really shut the bed.
Now, guys, if you wanted the league code, I just remembered. I promised you guys a league code. There's going to be so many people. End of the video, we'll be doing the league code. Matty, remind me.
Okay.
Don't talk about Loman or Worth.
All right, Loman. And then we got Kiri Coleman who got injured. So that's it. I don't really care. There's no one really...
Kim Coleman, 200,000 next year. Where'd you think about it then?
Yeah, probably.
Done.
For sure.
Now, let's talk about a team that's actually relevant because these guys got the early buys. So we've got to go to the next game, Matt Siebes. Now, I want
Swans and the D's. What a game.
That was a very interesting game, Matty. I tell you right now,
Champ, I'm going to save the best to last, so we'll go to the Melbourne D's first.
Well, that's the best at the start because a lot of super coaches, including myself, are collectively shitting their pants about Max Gawn. Now, if we're picking up any of these buy players, they're missing a game, and what we've kind of spent to miss the game is we get a free look at the round 1 score.
I smell the sherry in your team.
You can smell all you want, Matty, but but you're wrong. But I'd rather go up than down. Maxi Gawn, we paid an extra game to see him play, So every premium that's got an extra buy, the cost is we got to see him play an extra game for our team before considering betting. Now, if Max Gawn gets another 70, everyone's going to be trading him out.
Yes.
He's one game away from losing about 80k.
What if he gets 100?
100's not even good enough for his price.
No, it's not.
And he's coming up against big, sexy Tim English, nice, pasty, white Timber.
I think Maxi Gawn is just shell-shocked a little bit. He'll get back onto his feet.
Shell-shocked by Grundy destroying him.
Grundy just knew how to play against him.
So many people didn't have Grundy back in their teams now. I think he should be back in your team. If you got rid of him against our advice, get him back in. But Max Gawn, he went 160. Now, I was looking at...
180.
169 the week before?
180, wasn't it? 184 the week before.
Anyway, I was going through Maxi's stats. He peaked in about 2020 where he got 138. Then it's all been 124, 115, 130. So, and he had his lowest last year, which was 108. But I think that's from Grundy. What do you think his ceiling actually is? What average do you think
120.
he's going to? You think he's getting 120 with that 70 in his name as well?
Minus the 70, yes.
Including the 70. Because this is part of his average. The year has started.
118.
118. I don't think he cracks 150. I think he's around 115, which is still pretty good value for his price.
And for the ruck, how many other ruckmans can go after
Briggsy.
Yeah.
I think he's got a really good run. I think he's playing Sherry, which he's going to
Sherry's a
destroy.
good hit out.
He's going to get destroyed by Briggs. And he's going to then destroy West Coast.
Could I just say-
GWS has West Coast.
Could I just
He's
say-
playing Matt Flynn. What's Briggsy going to do against Matt Flynn?
Okay, if you
Well, not
say
Flynn, he's injured. Williams.
okay, so say this. What's Briggsy going to do against Darcy Cameron and Cox?
115s.
Okay, but he got 20 hitouts to their 30, to their 50.
But he's good around the ground as well, Briggsy. He's contested.
Nah, you could. I'm not going to. Okay, well, are we talking about Briggsy or are we talking about Max Gawn?
I'm talking about Briggsy.
But we should be talking about Max Gawn.
But I'm talking about Briggsy because you taught who other rock.
Max Gawn stays. He's a superstar and he's going to get 180.
Okay. If he gets another 70, is he out of your team?
For Briggsy.
If you do get rid of Max Gawn, because a lot of people are really scared, including myself, about keeping him. What are the best options out there? Tim English, Marshall. Is that the only ones you consider, or you consider a Sherry as well?
I'll consider Sherry.
What about a Luke Jackson in the ruck and then spending that money on a mid price so you can get unlock another mid primo?
Because the forwards are so crap. I don't want Luke Jackson away from a forward line.
I kind of do. I want him out because there's so many mid prices that I want to fit in that forward line. I mean, you don't like Harmsy. I don't know. You got James Jordan, Fife, and Fisher, and there's also Flanders and Reed and Sexton.
And
there's plenty of. There's no Heaney because no one's stupid enough to get Heaney. Now let's talk about
Heaney.
Viney.
Okay.
138. Want a pod for Melbourne? Is he going to be better than Petrarca or Oliver this year?
Well, he's getting the most CBAs, isn't he?
He is.
And Oliver was having a bit of time in that forward line.
He got 30.
I don't think there's room enough for my midfield at the end of the season to have Viney, Oliver, and Petrarca, let alone one of those three.
If someone out there is getting Viney as a pod, what's your kind of advice for that?
Cool. That's a good pod because he's killing
You like it? I don't know if he's going to keep up 138.
I don't think so, but it's 138. It's a good score. Petrarca, he had a solid game, but 108 with 87 Dream Team. They just didn't show up to play. I don't know. What do you think towards Petrarca?
Petrarca wasn't in my calculation because of the buy. There's obviously so many other players I want before Petrarca. I'm not going to be getting Petrarca. Salem had some more CBAs and he got 27 touches and a 93. Another really, really good outing from Salem is a mid-price defender.
It's just a matter of time for me when Oliver actually gets more CBAs.
You reckon it's going to build that up and Salem's going to come down?
I think so. Because, with Viney, Petrarca and Oliver in full force, Salem will pitch hit, so would that Sparrow, whatever his name is. But Salem, I thought about it. I liked his role on the day. He had the same role in the practice game where he got the most CBAs. Mm-hmm. So he's playing centre. He got a lot of contested touches that game. I think in the high teens, which was pretty impressive, but his execution wasn't that great. Now, someone that I really liked, I think everyone loves, is that good old Howes.
I think Howes has to be a lock. I think he's my biggest POD at one stage, and I'm like, why isn't everyone jumping on him?
Howes is definitely made me getting my 5 premium to a 4 premium backline because of that sexy young man.
We don't think he's going to get 91s every week, but
let's hope so. Look, he doesn't have to get 91s every week, just 2 out of the 7 weeks when we got a full 22. That's all I'm asking, right?
He played a really good game. I think if you're out of Caulfield and Reed and...
he's on the field. Gibcus.
Gibcus and Ethan.
He'll be a buff for sure. And the other job security was always the question, but now that good old, his rhyming teammate Bowie replaced for Howes, that's going to be handy for him. So
8 weeks out, Bowie, if you haven't seen our Facebook page, join it, almost 5,000 likes and followers.
But there are other things that's the plus side. All the other things that happen, I just didn't
How did your boy Bailey Laurie, your friend's cousin, go?
Billings, Laurie, even Windsor, I just can't. When Laurie and Billings were subbed off, and then you got Windsor, who's not really doing as much. I don't want to.
I don't mind Windsor. I just think there's so many better options. Even Lorazzo, Some guy says he had a bit of a
Larazzo.
problem because we didn't call him Lazaro. Larazzo.
Larazzo sounds better.
Yeah, way better. And I think Larazzo is better than Windsor, especially at 180k getting you 58. Cadman can do that for you.
Easily. So yeah, so Windsor, I just don't think he gets a lot of the footy to get us big high points. Even in the preseason game, he scored pretty well, but it was like 11 touches and 2 goals. You take the 2 goals out and he's going to get you 50.
Billings, no thank you. Matty's Boyle, Bailey Laurie, no thank you.
No. They really upset me, and now we had to find players that are going to actually score well in the forward line besides these rookies, which I was counting on. So, Gilles saying that.
Sydney.
Grundy,
obviously, we're not going to talk too much about Grundy. I think you need to get him in. He's too cheap, and you can obviously see what he can do in a Sydney Swan team. There's nothing else to add to this Grundy, right, Matty?
He's a champion.
Now, Isaac Heaney, he got... Apparently, Champion Data said, or someone said it was his best game ever that he played with the amount of contested touches. 144 SuperCoach, 26 disposals and a goal. Obviously, he's playing more midfield with Parker, Mills, and Adams not being in there at the time. Is a hell no for me.
Now that's Jordy's negative output.
It's not negative output.
Heaney has been a trap, and he's reeled us all in for the last decade. But they do not have a midfield, Jules. And Parker and Mills is out for 12 weeks. Parker's out for 6 weeks. Adams not going to come back for another 4 to 5 weeks. His role is going to be there for at least till his butt.
Don't agree, because Buddy Franklin's left. They don't have any good forwards.
Champ,
I reckon they can put him
Melbourne.
Good on them, but I don't see Isaac Heaney getting 144 every week.
Oh, it doesn't matter. No, but I can see him getting 20 contested touches every week.
Yeah, in the forward line.
In the midfield, where he's been playing and where...
I don't like him.
Okay, cool. I'm just letting everyone know. My look, they like the yin.
May as well just get Mackay.
They just like the yin. They like the yin and yang of your our opinion, Jaws.
Okay, so he has a fairly extensive injury history. He's known his role is going to change eventually. At his price, there are better players like Flanders, and for a couple extra K, you get Jackson and all these players.
He has not been injured.
He's not a keeper.
He's missed 2 games in the last 4 years, so I don't know where this injury thing is coming from. So 2021 he played 20, then actually 21 was the COVID year, so he didn't miss any. So he hasn't missed it.
No, 2020 was the COVID year.
Okay, fine. So he's missed 2 games.
Okay, fine.
Okay, he's missed 2 games in 3 years, champ. And you know what? I don't he's going to have a bye, and already we know he's got 144. He's going to go soaring in price. Shut up. Just shut up. Just shut up.
Didn't even fucking say anything.
You're about to. I saw you. You want to say something? Oh, do you want to say something?
Oh, yeah.
I can tell. So we already know he's got the 144. He's probably, did he top SuperCoach points of... He'll be the player of the week this week. Easily. Heaney the player of the week this week, yes. You already know he's got that 144. What I just told you about all those players that aren't playing, he will still keep that role till at least round 4, round 5 when he has his bye. He should make us at least 80 to 100k. He's 4'8".
Can I ask you one question? Was he ever in your consideration before this game?
Never.
Okay.
He's in 3% of teams and he's still a pod.
Now, can I ask you another question? Is he going to be a keeper in your forward line for the rest of the year?
He potentially
No.
No, he could. If he keeps on getting that, maybe until round 6. So what my plan is, after round 6 draws, Goulden is going to be the same price as Heaney, straight swap.
No, he's not.
I think so.
Okay, can I ask you a question? The least important score for price rises is what? The first score, correct? Because that first score...
Why I like him.
The first score, I asked you a question.
Yeah, of course it is. It's going to go away after 1 week.
So if he gets an 80, an 80, and an 80, he's going to be pretty much the same price.
Oh, but he's not going to get an 80. I like the role. I like that he's done so much contested. And beating a top team like Melbourne, Longmire thinks he's got the winning formula with Heaney in the guts. There's no one else going to put... He doesn't have any other players to replace Heaney in the guts. He doesn't. Like, you got Rowbottom and Chad Warner.
Who's Fremantle's coach?
They're both Longmire.
Oh.
One's John, one's Horse.
Oh, okay. That confused me. Continue.
Yeah. Are you serious?
Yeah, I thought Longmire. Was it Freo?
Yeah, there's 2 of them. Anyway, so Horse Manure, Longmire,
Horse Manure,
the city coach. He doesn't have anyone else to put in that midfield. Like, you've got Heaney. I saw Papley even go in there. And
Papley's pretty good.
And Papley.
Or you're going to get Papley too?
Oh my God, he got 120.
You may as well get Papley.
No, Papley's because Heaney's Heaney. Heaney got 144.
Heaney's Heaney.
That's your argument. Contested.
So, Matty, what's your reason? Heaney's Heaney.
Heaney. So anyway, that's enough.
Are you planning on trading him out at like round 3 when his buys there?
Right.
You're planning on trading out Heaney at round 4?
When Goulden, let's speak about Goulden, because Goulden, I'm not planning, I'm just, hey champ, you got to make some decisions to win. All right, I've got 40 trades. It's literally.
I don't know what you're doing to my blood pressure right
We've got 2 trades all the way up until SuperCoach finals. Like when you figure that out, we've got 20. Like let's just say on average, we can do 2 trades a week up until round 20.
But you're not. You're going to be boosting. You'll be using 4.
Boosting is what I'm going to do. Yes, Jules. That's correct. I'm going to have no more boost by round
Matty,
4.
we ran out of trades early last year because we boosted. We only got 4 more trades than last year. You last another 2 weeks at tops. That's
I had 3 trades for the finals.
What are you talking about?
No, 3. This guy. This guy.
So you're getting Papley?
No.
What's the difference? Midfielders are out.
Nah, Heaney.
Fuck, man.
They love it. He got the best score. He got 3 Brownlow votes that game.
Okay, but you're not going to get that score round 1. It's gone.
Against Collingwood, yes, you will.
It's gone.
Against
Papley
Collingwood.
has got just as an equal chance of getting 140 as Heaney does, based on that theory.
I like Heaney better, champ, and Heaney is Heaney. And
Papley.
I like him. So he's.
I just dropped Papley in
I'll
draft.
tell you this right now, real quickly. Right. So after Collingwood, Sydney's got Essendon, and then guess who? Richmond. And then guess who?
A buy.
West Coast. Let's keep that quiet.
Oh, I'm going to keep it so quiet. I want to say one more word about
next
it.
one there,
Nick Blakey. And since we're talking about Sydney superstars that have overperformed, how about Nick Blakey for 400 or something K at 2,617 Supercoach? Fix that back line.
I hate it. I don't like Sydney Swans' buy, and they got Collingwood, and they got Collingwood and Richmond and West Coast the week, so it's not going to be in their back line because Heaney's going to be pumping it in the guts.
Now, let's talk about someone actually relevant for once. James Jordan.
Yeah.
Now, based on his performance, did he do more to consolidate a spot in your team or less to consolidate a spot in your team?
Less.
Tell me why.
I just don't like his role.
What is his role? The wing role that you knew he was going to get?
Well, I just like his price, but yeah, I don't like it. Do you like him? What do you think?
His performance turned me off a little bit. 18 touches, 71% time on ground, which is the big one. He's a fit bloke. I thought 71% time on ground is not enough.
He's a soft. I said he's soft. He just wants that out. He wants those Galsano touches, but he doesn't get them because he's shit.
James Jordan, 81 is a pretty good Supercoach score based on his possessions because.
But
look,
18 touches, 71% game time.
The only thing that. Sorry, Cam,
I'm
go
shying
ahead.
away from him, that's all.
She's shying away?
Yeah.
I'm shying away a little bit. But the thing is that concerns me, he did get 31 in the practice game with pretty much Sydney's full strength-ish team. I know a 31, if he was to get a 31 again and he gets 120 next week, he's going to force our hand. If you get an 80 and 100 even, if he gets a 90 even next week, we're going to have to bring him in, just based on the number of scores he's getting. So I don't want to minimise the amount of,
I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean? Because if he gets another 90, you're going to have to trade him in. Because he's got an 80 and a 90 at 270k.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason why I'm kind of leaning towards maybe a yes than maybe a no, even though it's really hard to fit him in.
Another good superstar player that could also be on your field is Matty Roberts, champ. What do you think of his role? It's really stealing Jake Lloyd's role. And with 19 touches, he got 91, so chopped it up a bit, 91 Dream Team, but only 76 Supercoach with 19 touches, 84% game time, taking the most kick-ins as well for Sydney.
Loved it, Matty. He single-handedly got Hoostwaite out of my team. That's so I can get him on the field because he was on my bench.
So that's what I'm saying. So he's definitely worth on your field spot. I think so too.
For sure.
I love that for Roberts. Now, Geordie, another one of the players that I didn't start with, if it was round 1 opening, was that Goulden. How upset, how disappointing is it when we didn't start Coleman, we didn't start Goulden, and they turned to shit?
It is disappointing, but I guess it's just how the cookie crumbles. Because we have been probably the biggest anti-Goulden
But we would have started Max Gawn, but anyway.
I mean, I still would have kept Max Gawn though.
I think everyone would have got Max Gawn when he got that 180.
180, yeah, for sure. So everyone would have got Max Gawn. I still like Goulden, absolutely, and I think he's going to bounce back from that 77 in an absolutely big way. He's a superstar. He had 89% time on ground, which is huge for a midfielder / winger like him. So I really like Goulden. The score was obviously shit.
He was doing everything he could.
I think a lot of people are going to jump off Goulden, jump on Tom Green, and that's their plan. I still think Goulden will average a pretty huge score and top 8 midfielder to the end of the year. So
even with that 76?
Yeah, I still think so. I still think he is. I liked him. He's fantastic.
It's Goulden. We know he's a jet, but he just had a really crap game for us. Hopefully he gets another one. in 2 weeks' time.
Yep.
All right,
I
Jules,
think that's it, Manny.
I think that's it for me. Let's go and talk about the Suns and the Tigers. There's a lot to love about here, isn't there?
Oh, mate. There's so many inflated Gold Coast scores.
I think
Raul Powell and Todd. Now, Raul, obviously, the grass eater done really well, 33. He got the second most ever clearances in a game. Clearances, 20 clearances. That's an insane amount of clearances. 137 to 160. Do any of these blokes consider entering your team, considering that you're,
Okay, so I've just looked at, there's so many SuperCoach points that's one-sided. There was over 12 people got over 93 plus. Probably 9 people got over.
Just in Gold Coast,
in Gold Coast, then 9 got over 100. So I think it was just a big bashing. And is this science to come where maybe Richmond could be the shittest team to put captain when you play?
I think so. I think Richmond's always leaked some midfield points, especially with, Taranto, Hopper, and a couple of one-way running midfielders, Shea Bolton and like that.
Because the top 5. So this is why it's hard. Is Gold Coast gonna Damien Hardwick was pretty proud.
Is Gold Coast really good or is Richmond really shit?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So we've got Raul, who got obviously 33, 20 clearances. Flanders got 26 touches. Will Powell, who was the back line, just, you got the
mopped everything.
Just mopped everything up, 28 touches. You got Noah Anderson, 122, Took Miller, 116. They're the main...
74% CBAs for Anderson. It looks like maybe his wing time is done under Damien Hardwick, and he's just getting the 3 absolute jets in there with Flanders rotating whoever's on the bench.
That's what I see happening, and that's just who do you go for?
Personally, I'd go for Anderson.
But I'm saying, is there room for more than one of them?
No.
There's not.
You can't get Raul and Anderson in your team, and then go to that bye. You get no points during.
Besides the bye, let's just say the byes are done.
Besides bye.
There's a good one. There's always a good 1-2 combo, but this one here looks like it's a 1-4 combo.
I think the risk in that, Matty, is, as you said, not knowing it's Gold Coast at home against a midfield that leaks a massive points. So I wouldn't want to pick 2 huge premiums in my midfield, and it's pretty much over $1 million, 1.2 million, based on them playing Richmond. These scores that we're not going to get in our teams.
So just go through a couple of teams, right? You'll potentially get Laird and Dawson in your team. Yeah. You'll potentially get Dunkley and Neil in your team at the same time. You'll potentially, you could.
I mean, I wouldn't.
Okay, all right. There's some people that will probably get maybe Chera and Cripps. But anyway, Chera and Walsh.
You're just saying that there's 4 good midfielders in good. That's just kind of.
That's what I'm getting. I'm not going to go through all the way.
Okay, no, I was going to stop you there. You got the goals. You got the Brayshaws and the Sarongs. Yeah, well, I get what you're saying, champ.
Okay, so why not? Because I could fit them. Why wouldn't you?
Because I just told you why. Because they're playing Richmond. We don't know if this is their absolute ceiling because they're playing a shit midfield at home.
Okay, if you had, put him in order. Who do you like the most?
At that price?
The best player, the most average.
But at the price is what I would be selecting on SuperCoach on. Because Took Miller would be ahead of all of them based on his low price. Okay. But I wouldn't have him...
So you don't think Took Miller's going to be number 1 average out of these players?
I don't.
Anderson?
I think Anderson might. I think because Anderson... He had I think he had about maybe 8 games where he had 60% CBAs low. I think it's all going to be 70 based on what I saw on the weekend. And I think that gives him a bit more room to improve. Raul obviously has got a lot of improvement. The Took Miller I saw, even though I really liked his game, he didn't seem like the 130 Took Miller.
He chopped it up a bit.
He did. I think what Took was a little bit more damaging about 2 years ago.
He got a bit of pigeon points too when it was already gets smashed. Anyway, moving on. Champ, Buderick, crap, he got a 97, he got a 94.
21 touches is not enough for me for a mid-price that he's got to buy. Personally, if you like him, grab him. I don't like Buderick at all, especially because Powell looked good there, Sexton looked good there. There's so many rebounding defenders.
Sexton looked crap until he...
I actually loved him. I actually loved that he was butchering the football because he was doing, 21 touches. He's not...
But if we're never going to start Sexton, we don't need to get the most points to get.
Well, I was 100% getting Sexton. I just hope he was going to keep on stinking up the field so I could have him as a cheeky punter.
There's no one else besides those big 4 midfielders.
If you had to pick one in SuperCoach right now,
Took Miller.
You pick Took?
Yeah.
Then who would you go for?
Flanders.
Oh, I forgot about Flanders.
Yeah.
I completely forgot.
Took and Flanders.
I was talking about the big 3 midfielders.
Even though I think Flanders is trash.
Now let's talk about Flanders because you said he's a trash pick.
Yes.
And you said Toby Green was a bad pick. So you had Flanders below Toby Green.
Look, all right, okay. Flanders, like you said, okay, so now you're using your own argument against me, saying Richmond leak all the midfield points in the shittest team, and now you're saying, oh, wait a minute.
Well, no, I'm saying that you called Flanders trash, and now you're saying he's in calculations for a spot in your starting team. Is he not in calculations for a spot in your starting team? No. You haven't considered it at all?
No.
You're talking shit?
No.
You are. No. You are. You're lying to me. You called me on the phone, and you told me that you were thinking about putting me in your team.
No, I didn't.
What are you lying for?
I don't remember that conversation, George.
You're a fucking idiot.
Flanders. You mean Sanders from Western Bulldogs? No, I didn't.
So you went early on the trash call for Flanders. You see a good game, he's in your team. You see a bad game, you call him trash. Okay, but he was in your team at the preseason game.
What's the point you're trying to make?
That you called him trash prematurely, and he's not trash.
Okay. All right, so I apologise.
Apologise.
No.
You just said sorry.
Because you told me to, I said no. Moving on to the Richmond Tigers. Chat, my boy Short, what do you think?
I love Short, and I would choose him if he didn't have the bye. That's as simple as it is.
But he's got the bye in round 6. He's
still a Short I'm going to be missing. I could have... Play with me a bit for a minute, mate. Play with me. Now, Luke Ryan, I'd rather have him an extra game more than Short.
Fair enough.
If Short didn't have, if he had paid the same amount, I'd choose Short.
Even though he's $56,000 cheap?
I'd pay $50,000 for an extra 100 and so average for a game.
I think by that time I would have full primos in that back line anyway.
But you're still missing one.
It doesn't matter. There's still more.
You can whisper where you want, Jim's not going to change the
thing. I just think his fucking role is so good. And knowing that Richmond are going to get smashed, and he's got Collingwood, and Collingwood love kicking points in round 3 where he's going to go really high up. I love Short. There was not much. Now, Chad, let's talk about Naismith. He got 91.
He actually, the players under 200k, I think he scored the highest amount of points for rookies consideration, 93. Narrowly beating out Howes on 91. Matty, has he found a way into your team?
No.
Okay. Has he gone up on your rating of trash that you labelled him? Or is he still trash?
If I see Nank, who's scheduled to be named this week,
yes,
he'll be still trash. And
he's still named with Nank?
He'll be the sub just like Ryan.
He could be subbed off, but you're saying he's still a trash pick?
I think so, because where are they going to play him?
Okay, say if Nank's not back this week and he's getting a game by himself.
All right, that's different.
Is it? How different is it? Because this kind of feels like round 0 again.
Look, at the end of the day, it's just like if Nank's not back this week, he'll be back next week, and then you'll be stuck with 120,000.
Okay, so I got a question. If you don't get him this week, and Nank's not playing, and he gets a 90,
I could do whatever the fuck I want.
Okay, yeah. I'm just asking, are you going to trade him in?
Oh, who knows? Ben Livingston. Who knows?
You're going to pay 20k to get him in?
Look, I've got the $25,000 left over in the bank just in case.
I've got a feeling Naismith might find his way back into your team.
I've got
another trash pick of Matt Teeves'.
Yeah.
Now, let's go to Gib Coos. Now, Gib Coos.
Yeah.
You got like 9 touches, but a 76.
I hate him.
You don't like him?
Man, it's just a matter of time where he's just going to be stuck on that 39.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. He will be 39, but there will be some games where he does manage a 76. Wow. I just don't like it. His job security is probably the best out of all the defender rookies out there. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I do. I just don't want to spend that extra 50k. You know?
I understand what you're saying.
So there's just something about him that I don't know.
I love him. I think he's my number 1 rookie defender based on job security, and if I have to take a 30 from him, that's fine, but I'm hoping that's when he's on the bench as an emergency and Zach Williams has got his bye, but I'm happy to cop that from Gipkus on bye rounds, but I think if he gets enough 70s, look, he's already got a 76, if he gets another 2 76s, that's about
hamstring.
A 70, he's not okay.
He's an injury-prone idiot.
Seth Campbell. 80, he looked like one of Brisbane's best players.
Pass it on, but you still got Lynch, you got Dusty, and you got Nank coming in potentially all this week.
Nank's coming in for that, Ryan.
We'll see about that. You're not the coach, and we'll just see what the...
I'm not the coach. No, Seth Campbell ain't coming out, but I wouldn't be getting him with 9 touches and 2 goals. He looked good though, so...
yeah, fair enough. Taranto looks really cheap.
I'm talking about Taranto on this podcast, Matt.
Okay, cool.
Thompson Dow, 6 touches. He has 17 CBAs. You're in the midfield with the rest of the boys. You and your mates in the midfield. You get 17 CBAs. 72%, 6 times.
72% time on ground as well.
That's disgusting. Get him out of my face.
Yeah.
Is that it for them?
That's it, but let's go to the next shittest game of the round, which is Giants versus Collingwood.
Is this the last game or is there one more?
That's it.
Wow, guys, time is flying when you're having fun.
Champ, let's just go to the...
Tom Green.
Wow, lock.
Lock. I always thought Tom Green was going to kill Collingwood. It's not really a lock for me. I mean, I loved Tom Green, and I would 100% start with him if it wasn't a buy.
Boom.
Now, let me tell you something. He's got West Coast and Kangas. Last time he played West Coast, he got 106 Supercoach only. And the last time he played North Melbourne, he only got 77 Supercoach. And that was last year. These are not like, 3 years ago. So he likes beating up on the better teams.
And he will keep doing that throughout the year. But they are the best team, I think, in the club at the moment.
West Coast Eagles?
No, Western Bulldogs. Western Sydney. I'm saying they're the best team. And I just think they're just so attacking and hungry, and they just look so goddamn good, especially Tom Green. Champ, I want to ask you something about Whitfield. What do you think?
I think if you're talking about Whitfield, you may as well talk about Lockie Ash in the same sentence.
Well, yes, let's talk about them both.
Go for it.
I'm asking you.
I'm not touching any of them.
Okay, cool. Me too.
Because of the buys. But Lockie Whitfield did look good. He did end the season last year with a lot of
amazing
big
stats.
Scores. His injury history, he's hurt me before. Don't go back to your ex. Get someone new. Get a Lockie Ash.
Get a Lockie Ash who's fresh and he's getting a bit more points more.
I don't like any of them, Matty. I'd rather Jaden Short over those two, personally. What about yourself?
Well, yeah, I got Jaden Short, so yes. He hasn't moved out of my team yet. So, Canelio, Kelly, yeah, okay, cool. That's great score or good scores.
Don't want to talk about them. Let's talk about Briggsy.
Well, I thought we already did and don't want to talk about him anymore.
Well, you said don't talk about him. We're talking about
No,
Gorn.
we actually did talk about him. So
I think Briggsy can be a top 3 ruckman.
I can concur.
I think he can out-average Marshall. I think he can out-average Gorn. I think he can out-average almost anyone except for English.
Everyone.
And maybe Grundy. I think he can even outdo Grundy.
Well, why don't we just get Briggs in English then?
Because Gorn's a bit cheaper, and I think they can average about the same.
Yeah. Chan, what did you like about Cadman's game?
I didn't like it too much, to be perfectly honest. He did kick 2 goals up on the ruck. I'm really hoping if you do pick Cadman, he can get some ruck DPP. That would be the most handiest if he can get a little bit more ruck time, but I don't think he is going to get a Matty. Jacob Weir, 78% time on ground, which is pretty good for a rookie, 78% time on ground, but he only got a 48, Matty.
He's such a little weak boy, but I like him.
You know who looks like a weak boy? Harvey Thomas. I wouldn't be touching him.
No. Well, that was his first game in the forward pocket. 9 touches, both got 40, 1 48, 1 40. Don't really like much besides Cadman could sneak his way in because I'm betting that he might have a couple of good games in the next 2 rounds for some cash flow. Maybe, but...
Is Jacob Weir worth still a spot on the bench in the midfield?
No, not when you got Jake Carroll's getting 60s in 1 quarter.
If he's named as a sub again, though, that will leave a midfield spot open. Would you consider getting Weir for Carroll if he's a sub, or
if Sharp is definitely...
If Sharp's injured?
If Sharp's injured, well, then I think that Cooper Stevens from Freo should come in.
Cooper Simpson.
And
I don't think so. He probably won't be a good scorer either. We'll probably have to spend some money and get that Hoostwaite.
Get that Hoostwaite on the bench.
Yeah, that's not...
Himmelberg, champ. He got 101.
Toby Green. He's going to...
Toby Green was just easing it in. He got 93% time on ground and he only got a goal. Champ at Himmelberg.
No. I think his days are done as a really high-scoring defender. I like Whitfield better than him.
24 touches and 101 Supercoach. Not bad.
Whitfield got almost 137 Dream Team.
It's because he knows how to kick the fat barrel. All right, Jules. Back to Colangwa. Champ. Lipinski, he's not trash. He got 87, 26
I was
touches.
actually rooting for Lipinski so more people could get him in the team. 26 touches, though, is a good effort from Lipinska.
Those 2 points could have easily been 2 goals. Nick Dacos, Chan, what do you think? 34 touches.
I think that video we said don't get Nick Dacos, that's completely ignorant. We have to get him.
We've got to get him in. I agree. Like Pendles was like on 2 touches at halftime.
He only played 62% game time.
Yeah, he was on 2 touches at halftime and then he came on and got 16 touches.
Now let's talk about Tom Mitchell. You said you'd choose him if you didn't have a bye. Why did he get subbed again?
Champ, he was getting rested.
Because he's really old now. He's going to be a sub. He's not an option. Matty.
Champ, 48% game time. He's still got a 59. That's amazing. Don't know why they subbed him. He was on fire. But anyway, I think they just wanted to maybe mix it up a bit.
That Degoe score. 43 with 21 touches. Yuck.
Is that what he did? Oh, I didn't even see that.
Charlie Dean.
He played okay. But I don't think his job security when you got Howe and Big Murphy coming back in pretty soon.
Is there anyone in Collingwood you consider other than Nick Dacos? Charlie Dean, perhaps, if he gets another game?
Charlie Dean's the only one.
And I wouldn't even consider him. There's too many good backline
Darcy Cameron if he goes back into the forward line. That's about it.
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
So that's it. I think that's all the necessary players. If we miss someone, please let us know in the comments and we'll let you know what we think about them. But if we haven't named them, chances are they're pretty shit.
No
now,
joke.
Maddie, we've got a double team reveal. Double team reveal. My team and your team, same video, lots of bagging. Final team reveal.
I haven't even seen it yet.
It's so interesting.
Champ. Okay, let's get into it.
Wait, I gotta give these guys a lead code. Now guys, if you've made it, this is the lead code. If you're asking me and you don't have this code, you don't get it. 523877.
Repeat, league code is 523877. Join
Look
the
for you in
SuperCoach.
there.
Join the SuperCoach Masters League.
And if you're new here, guys, please subscribe.
And if you don't subscribe,
Please subscribe.
please subscribe. Okay.
How nice is that? That's so PG, family friendly. Up top.
Yeah. All right, Joel, let's get into team reveal. I don't even want to shake your hands. Let's just stop, do it. Team reveals. You're the best around. All right, let's go. I'm not moving. I'm going to see Jordy's shit team. Let's go.